Welcome back, everyone. We're here at Miss Abrams'
Is Miss Shirley
89th
doing Zoom
birthday
meetings? No. A bit
celebration.
difficult.
Miss Abrams, how are you doing?
Because
We're going to ask that main question. I call it the major question, and Miss Abrams, I think it's called a thinking question that she wants everyone to think about as far as leaving their legacy and what they're teaching. The main question is, what has Miss Abrams contributed to your personally teaching, inspiring, and pushing for justice, fairness, and dignity for all humanity? We've had Roderick Torrance on the first night. We've had Jesse Hargrove. We've had Anjerrio Kameron and Miss Abrams herself, as well as Johnny, his son. And we also had some people who sent in their Zoom comments. And that was from Miss Abrams' son herself, Orville Abrams, and one of her sorors. Dr. Hargrove, what was that name again? It's Latasha
Rideout. Yeah, Rideout.
Rideout. Yeah, Latasha Rideout.
The bossless of the Theta Sigma chapter of fabulous Sigma Gamma Rho sorority.
Okay. And let's see, I see everyone's already here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Rizal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So we're going to let you go ahead and answer that question on how Ms. Abrams has contributed to pushing and inspiring you teaching people, continuing the torch for teaching justice, fairness, dignity for all humanity on her 89th birthday. That's something that she wants everyone to expound on. And she's also, like Dr. Hargrove said, given us a call. She would like for 89 people to join the NAACP, 89 people to join the AARP, 89 people to join the Urban League. Now, did I leave any organization out that you want 89 people to join, Miss Abrams? Can you hear me? I guess maybe it kind of froze, because it looks like it kind of froze, but we're still recording. So we're going to go ahead and let Rizal answer that question from the NAACP. And what was your role in NAACP, Rizal? You can tell everybody.
Yeah, first, happy 89th birthday to Mama Annie, Sister Annie Abrams. And good evening to everybody on the Zoom call. But I'm the former president of the Arkansas State Conference of the NAACP, a life member of the NAACP, okay, and currently the vice president of the North Little Rock branch of the NAACP.
Okay. Okay.
Would you like for me to go on and answer the question?
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your service.
Look, it's a very easy question to answer, and I know I've got like 2 minutes, but I always share this story. Okay. First time I met Anna Abrams, Miss Abrams, I was at a Democratic Black Caucus meeting, the first meeting I had ever attended. And Miss Abrams walked up to me and she said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to be president." And her eyes got big, and the first words out of her mouth, she said, "President of these United States?" And I said, "Well, no." I said, "Well, no, ma'am, President of the NAACP." And sure enough, she gave me some encouraging words that night, and I did move on to become the president of the Arkansas State Conference, and we had a very successful tenure during that time period. But I've learned a lot over the years with Ms. Abrams, and being able to understand that most important thing is service. And it just so happens tonight that I'm in my truck driving because I've been out working on a campaign. And part of my motivation for working in politics, especially with the Democratic Party, is because of the influence that Mother Abrams has had over my life. And so I appreciate and respect that teaching, because that teaching I'm continuing to share with the next generation, but also refreshing or motivating, re-encouraging the older members, the older people that have kind of gotten demotivated, for lack of a better way to put it, over years. And so I'm continuing to use what I've learned from Mother Abrams, and I just, again, respect everything that she's done, and I'll continue to use what she's taught me. Most importantly, that service is the price that we pay.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much. That was a history moment, and and a confession. She said her eyes got real big, huh?
Right. President of the United States. I never will forget.
Okay. Said president of what, huh?
Yeah, I'll stay on. I'm going to get back on the road, but I'm hands free, so I'm going to stay on the call and listen to the other people.
Okay, great. Okay. Let's see. We've had other people that have already gone. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. And so we have Pat Ward is coming on in now. And so, Edmund, if you could expand on that same question. I'm trying to make sure that everyone can hear me.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, if you can go ahead and expand on that question also. And how did you meet Mother Abrams?
Well, I want to say good evening to everyone, the esteemed Zoomites here. I feel such a blessing to be amongst everyone here. I see Mr. Cameron and Mr. Green and Dr. Hargrove and of course, Rizal. I feel honored just to be included amongst these gentlemen here, and also Sister Pat. Hey, Ms. Ward. So thank you all. But to answer your question, for those who don't know my background, I'm a transitional person. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but I've been down in the South for the last almost 25 years. But the last 18 years have been down here in Arkansas, teaching at the higher ed level. And I met a man named Dr. Milton Crenshaw a number of years ago. And of course, we all know he transitioned about 5 years ago, but it seemed like Mother Annie picked up the torch as it relates to me from being that bridge builder between Generation X and either the baby boomers, but they're older than baby boomers. They're more seasoned than baby boomers. And so she's been pretty much a beacon of light for advice. She has been the quintessential community mother. And I've learned a whole lot from her as it relates to me being a candidate 2 years ago running for Little Rock City Board of Directors. And she always taught me about diplomacy. And she said, you have to say things in a diplomatic fashion. And so I learned that from her, as well as just knowing how to talk to people. You can never learn not enough, if you will. And of course, whether you're 44 or 84, you're always still in a season of learning. And that's some of the things that I've learned from our community mother. She's adopted me and of course, several others here as being her sons, her community sons. And she has just been sharp here, sharp spiritually, sharp with her people skills, and always able to bless somebody. And so, that's one of the things that I learned through my biological dad, but also through Dr. Crenshaw, and of course through some other mentors I have in my life. But Miss Annie is right there, head and shoulders with these giants in my life. And so she's taught me those things. And even today, as an example, today is me and my wife's anniversary on Annie Abrams' birthday. So,
well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Happy anniversary. We would take some time and share the love and wisdom to other people, but also take some time to dedicate and say thank you to God for being in alignment with us, with such a great teacher, a great person, and a mother mentor, so to speak. And so we said we would agree to just kind of take a few minutes out of our honeymoon to say how much we love our mother and our community mother and our one of our leaders. And so that's what she has meant to not just me, but to my wife, Monica, and also to our son all these years. She's been that quintessential human being and servant leader. Yes, she has.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm trying to make sure that the audio is coming through. I hope this is going to go clearly. This is like my amateur beginning on the Zoom, actually, you know, so I'm learning, I'm growing. I'm going to be working on perfecting this even more, getting a clear audio, clear video. But instead of waiting for perfection, I said, you know, you just have to go ahead and just start where you are and keep going and just roll with it, you know, and it'll get better. I know some of us had gone a couple of nights beforehand, and that has been recorded and saved, and I uploaded that to my YouTube. And so I'm working on that because some people said they had clicked on it and it said still private. I said, I clicked on public, you know, and published that. So I'm going to go back and look at that and then add this Zoom video recording tonight to the others. It was about 5 recordings. There was one lady that had called in, Miss Rideout from Theta Sigma Gamma Rho, and also Miss Abrams' son had sent a recording also, Orville Abrams. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on Scott Green, and then after that we're going to go on to our one of our major guests here tonight, and that's Pat Ward. Okay, Scott, are you unmuted? It looks like you are.
I am. Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. And
Good evening.
Thank you, Sharl, for allowing me a few moments. Happy birthday to my friend. Oftentimes I refer to her as my inspiration and my motivation. I have been somewhat quiet over the last few years, and because I think I have taken for granted God's goodness, but it has taken someone like Ms. Abrams to remind me of my place and my purpose. And so she instills in me a fire that few people can bring out. And so in giving her flowers while she yet lives, I can't think of a better opportunity to be here than for this. In terms of what I have learned from her, it goes deep, because I think she knew me before I knew myself. And so to have someone that has watched you grow and develop, make some mistakes, try to make up for those mistakes in a way that would not only be pleasing to people, but ultimately satisfying to the creator of us all, is quite rewarding. And so, Ms. Abrams, before I conclude, these few little words that I can offer, because I know people are pouring in on you from all corners of the earth. I just want you to know how much you've meant to me. Giving me the opportunity to repair your fax machine when it has run out of its ink ribbon, or just to come over and sit with you and our dear four-legged friend for just a few minutes and just talk, and to work out some of life's more complex problems, and even some of those that are, just routine. But you've meant a lot to me. I owe you a great debt of service. And I want to assure you that I look forward to living up to your expectations of me. And I hope to make you proud. I hope to make you proud. So until your 90th birthday, I certainly hope you enjoy this year to its utmost. And of course, you can always call on me at any time. So thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It looks like everybody has a very deep, very rich history with Miss Abrams and how she has inspired all of us. So thank you so much. I want to see if I can move on to Pat Ward, trying to make sure that she's unmuted so she can go ahead and chime in on this. She has agreed to share her comments also. And so we want to thank you, Ms. Ward, for joining us tonight.
Oh, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. So we want to thank you for your service. Pat is the CEO and founder of Arkansas Talks. And of course, she has her weekly radio show that comes on KABF every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And we've had some deep conversations on different issues, some diverse issues in the African-American community and the United States as a whole, period. And she was on last night, and we got to talking on this Zoom, and we didn't even record it. I think we were on there for literally about 2 hours and 10 minutes when everybody got finished saying what they had to say. But it was some deep conversation. It was something similar that everyone has experienced and dealt with, and that she writes on in her newsletter, which she said is about to become published again. I think she had another publication that she's been working on trying to finish, and that's going to be coming out. And we want to thank you for your service as the former mayor of Wrightsville, Arkansas, and that's 2009, correct?
Yes.
2009. 2009 to when?
Actually, it was only 2009, 2010, because, you know, most of your minority cities in Arkansas is controlled by the white supremacy. So they broke every law possible in order to get me out, because I was planning on prosecuting some of them, but they intervened with a federal investigation, and we're still working on trying to document that.
Documentation.
Yes.
Because that sounds like some serious documentation that you've had to work with and work on.
Yes, it is true. So we're just looking for a fair investigation. And of course, when we look at what happened in Louisville with the grand jury, you can't help but wonder, where do you go for a fair investigation and truthful results?
Fair investigation.
Right. Because we know that what came out of the Breonna Taylor grand jury investigation was not fair, and it made no sense. So, but you want me to reflect on how I met Ms. Abrams and what she means to me?
Exactly, and how she has encouraged you, how she has encouraged you in your teaching and continuing her legacy of teaching fairness, justice, equality for all humanity. That's like the question that she was wanting everyone to expound on, you know, how she has contributed to that, inspired you to continue to push for teaching justice, fairness, and equality, dignity for all humanity.
Right. Well, actually, would it be better if I turn this to landscape, because I'm talking on my tablet? So would it be better to turn it landscape or portrait?
Well, that's what I was told. Yes.
Landscape is better.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, put it. Okay, I don't know if that's better, but your picture is better.
Oh, it is better, because that's something that I was actually told, that a lot of times what people don't realize that they would need to turn their smartphones horizontal instead of vertical, and then you can get a clear, fuller picture. And it had, I mean, it's totally clear now. I see it.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm when I first got involved with the city of Wrightsville was back in 2005, and I had organized a Chamber of Commerce, and I believe it was in 2005 or 2006 that we had a Black History Month celebration. Former mayor of Wrightsville, Lorraine Smith, who was a career school teacher and a friend of Miss Abrams, had asked Miss Abrams to be on the program that we had put together for Black History Month. And that's when I first met her and found out that she knew my grandmother, who had taught school in Pulaski County for 53 years. And so we continued to develop our relationship all through the time that I was the emergency coordinator for the city of Riceville during the Katrina thing. So I managed a shelter there in the Riceville gym for 20, I think it was about 30 people from Louisiana, from the Katrina thing. And at least 20 of them were all from one family.
Relatives. My spiritualist. You don't see it now, but the face is still. Yeah, this is. I have the virus, but I'm nervous. Highway.
Okay, I guess somebody else is talking.
So I think it's Miss Abrams. It looks like her audio came through.
Oh, okay. Oh, somebody's working with her to get her on.
I don't even.
To get her audio fixed, I believe.
Okay, you want me to continue now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that's when I first met her. I went through a series of activities, including being elected recorder treasurer in 2008. I was on the same ballot with Barack Obama. And then after that, we just started to be friends. She started to advise me, and she was so elated when in 2012, when I announced that I was going to publish a newspaper. And she worked with me then, encouraged me to do so. She agreed to write a column in the paper, and she did. She distributed the paper, and whenever I would get discouraged, she would encourage me, and I was always impressed by her spirit. She's not afraid of anybody. She knows exactly who she is, and she knows that she believes that nobody is better than she is, and nobody is below her. So it doesn't matter if you are governor, president, whatever. You know, she speaks her mind to whoever needs to be spoken to. And she has always been helpful to me. When I first started my radio show, she guided me to show me how not to leave so much dead space, how to fill the time effectively. And in the last few years, I have become depressed and disappointed in not being able to do all of the things that I want to do. And she's been right there with me to encourage me. Her knowledge and experience over the years, she has shared so many historical moments with me of how she's been blessed to be, I won't say in the right place at the right time. It's just the blessings that follow her because of her genuine public service. And so I try my best to use my platform in support of what she believes as far as participatory democracy and to teach people, because sometimes we assume that just because a person has a position that they actually understand and know what they're doing. And she has taught me that everyone is human, everyone can be taught, and we should always look for a teachable moment, you know, with people when they say or do things that is not proper. That's the opportunity that we have to teach them, you know. And a lot of times on my radio show, I use the theme of how do we teach the privilege regarding the impact of institutional racism. And oftentimes people of another race may say or do things, they don't really realize that their information is not true. and it's our responsibility to teach them. You know, we don't have to get angry because someone says something insensitive. They don't know it's insensitive, and it's our responsibility to teach them.
Okay. And they don't realize it sometimes.
Right, because many times they don't understand our culture. They are not up during the night trying to figure out what we are doing, you know.
Right.
So it's up to us to let them know what our culture is, what our sensitivity is, and to help them to understand how to look at us as equal and how to love ourselves as we love other neighbors from any other culture.
Okay. And what I'd like to do is, you know, to continue some of these conversations sometime, you know, through Zoom, because we had dealt with some hot topics this whole week, and last night we were dealing with hot topics, and I got all of that recorded and saved.
What I'd like to do is get with you, and maybe you can help me to set up my YouTube channel, and we can start having some of these discussions through the Arkansas Talks platform.
Oh yeah, because once it's on YouTube and you publish that, that's international.
Right,
you know.
and that's what I want to be able to do.
Okay. Well, like I was saying before, you know, this is like a beginning, but it's a beginning, you know, and there's like some polishing up that I have to do. I'm still studying a lot, you know, because I want the clarity in the image. I want the clarity in the audio. I want that to be perfected, and that's what I'm trying to work towards, you know.
Yeah, and I had meant to have sent you my logo, which I forgot, but we can work on that. We can work on that as we improve, both you and I. We can improve together.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. As I said, sound like a plan.
And I thank you for inviting me, and I truly appreciate all that you do.
Okay, well, did anyone else want to expand on some of the things that Pat was discussing tonight? Because I remember that famous bus ride we had up there to DC. I call it that famous bus ride when we went up there to DC and were able to participate in the ribbon cutting ceremony. And when President Barack Obama cut that ribbon, you know, and spoke at that grand opening for the African American History and Culture Museum.
Yeah, and that was Miss Abrams' 85th birthday.
Yes, that was her 85th birthday. And we were in your newsletter then. And I know that Miss Abrams has a copy of all of your newsletters in her museum, because she keeps everything. She got a copy of everything.
Yeah, she even got copies of Say McIntosh newspapers that he used to publish.
Oh yeah. And the Green Book.
Yes.
The Green Book. You saw the movie, The Green Book. We went to see that. And Miss Abrams has an original copy of the Green Book directory. You know, I had ordered mine off Amazon because I wanted to put that. I wanted to add that to my library collection, because I have like my African history collection, have my Black history collection. I got my spiritual collection. So those are certain books, you know, that I treasure, and that was so important to me, because when I got it, I looked up the Black-owned businesses and hotels that were, you know, open then. And I was discussing that with Miss Abrams, like some of them, you know, of course, they've already closed down and closed out, just like they did on 9th Street. A lot of our businesses were, you know, shut out, this kind of thing. And now they're trying to bring all of that back. You know, of course, that whole street is real historical now.
Yeah, but they are wanting to, the people that are driving the redevelopment of 9th Street, it's not necessarily, it's not us. So they are wanting it to look like they want to be inclusive, but the plans are to do some things like they want it done, and not to really recapture, you know, the history of 9th Street and involve entrepreneurs of today, because you have people of today that own businesses, can invest in businesses, and they are not embracing them, and that's
Right.
not by accident. But
Exactly.
I won't get on my soapbox about that tonight. I'll
Okay.
save that for one of our panel discussions.
Yeah, we had to say that because I have some questions and some comments on that. I remember when I was at one of the political animal clubs luncheons, and this one particular male that I was sitting beside, is one particular white male that I was sitting beside. I had mentioned it, you know, and he said, "Oh, that's the building I bought for about less than $3,000, and he sold it for about $25,000." And my mouth almost dropped. I was going, "Oh my God, you
But
bought
see
that building?" I was going, "Oh, so you bought that building? You bought the property, you know?" And so, you know, it was amazing. You know, he got it. So I understand what you're saying, that, you know, we're not the ones that's running it. We're not the ones that necessarily own it. You know,
and we're not the ones that's included in the conversations of what they're planning on doing.
The planning of it. Exactly. So that's, you know, the history and who's controlling or taking over the different parts of the community. That's a hot topic within itself, and how that came about to be. But anyway, let's see, Dr. Hargrove, I see that you're unmuted. Did you have something that you want to say?
I just wanted to thank you, Ms. Ward, for all that you have done in this particular community and its surrounding areas. I think that each Wednesday you open us up to understand the issues, the concerns, the problems that we can help to resolve. And it's because of people like you and Scott Green, through his media source, that we're able to learn what to do in our particular community. Is Mother Abrams on now? Because I think she may want to chime in, or you're gonna wait until Anjerrio does his wonderful poetic sounds?
Well, Miss Abrams, are you there? Are you able to hear us? Because it shows that she is there. I don't know if her video or just froze. It looks like it probably froze.
Okay.
You know.
While we have Ms. Ward here, that we can talk about a couple of issues as she is coming back to the microphone, because last night was a very interesting scenario at the governor's mansion.
Right.
And I'd love to hear her perspective, and I see Green is still on. I don't know who else is still on. There's someone connecting.
There's Johnny Hassan. Johnny Hassan is coming in.
Okay.
And I know that Anjerrio was wanted to do this poem justice, you know, so we were going to do it individually, and so we can get that preserved, you know, and be able to post it, his poem. I'll upload that on YouTube and be able to post that, so that'll be like international. But were you saying that you were wanting to see if Anjerrio could share like a few, I guess a couple of verses with us? Because I didn't know if he was able to do that right now, if he was prepared to it. Anjerrio, did you want to share a few verses with us, or did you want to go ahead and wait till we get that full recording done? Because he wanted to have his logo, everything in the background, and everything's perfected. He wanted to do this poem justice for Miss Abrams' birthday, and I understand that. I understand that. He did say he called her and shared the poem with her. Go ahead, Anjerrio.
Yeah, I was going to say that I probably can do it, you know, we can do the whole thing in a little bit, but just for some of the people listening in, it kind of said, if I could call you a candle, I would call you a candle because of its flame, but the stars above would probably complain. You're a universal light from our constellation, a Nubian goddess, the jewel of our nation, An instrument of hope who removed the fear that bow before clouds when the storms draw near. Through all the injustice, the prejudice and pain, you focused on the future and envisioned the rains. When racism reeked of evil and hate, you forged an alliance with Daisy Bates. The year was 1956. Segregation was unlawful, but they still practiced it. You were a warrior in the fight for the cause. Battle leaders forced governments to uphold the laws. For the Little Rock Nine and so many more, there were millions absent and unaccounted for. In 1957 at Little Rock Central High, Governor Orville Faubus refused to comply. He used the National Guard to block the front door, left a scar that won't heal from a wound that's still sore. On behalf of the Nine, you neutralized threat, strength with courage to serve and protect. When hatred descended on the conscience of love, you remained dignified and levitated above. When the protests, marches, boycotts and signs, though innocent were accused of committing a crime, it was your voice the courts couldn't ignore, fought harder against injustice than ever before. When poverty, oppression, and economical despair suffered in silence and the government didn't care, you repaired the promise that prejudice broke through love with peace, prosperity, and hope. Paid homage to heroes who now lay sleep, honored dignitary leaders by renaming streets. Daisy Bates, Charles Busby, Dr. Martin Luther King, a gift from our past through the eyes of a queen.
Oh my goodness. You got through that, you know. It was just a little audio technical difficulties, but you did get through it and I was able to hear it. And, you know, we're going to record that again, just, you know, singly. I was talking last night about, you know, Pat has, what is it, 4 microphones up there? At
the studio. Yeah.
So we ought to be able to get the audio down, Pat, because that's what we want to do, because we've got to do that poem justice. That's
absolutely.
A beautiful,
and you know, right, and I just want to tell Mother Cobbs, you know, in the ubiquitous melancholy of these turbulent times, it is such a blessing to have her as a warrior fighting in the cause for justice. So we love you, Mother Abrams, and thanks for being our leader.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So I didn't know if there was anyone else that had anything else to say before we go. I see Johnny Hassan has joined us. And let's see, I'm not too sure.
Unmute, okay.
Yeah, okay, I was trying to see if you were able to unmute it. Okay. Did you have anything to say before we go?
Well, yes, I have to greet everybody with Assalamu alaikum, God's peace be upon you, and also the prayers. We put our Mother Abrams in our prayers too, because just wishing her birthday, and she has had some medical difficulties during these times, so put her in our prayers, because again, we want God to give us, she asked for 11 more years. I heard that, you know, and she would be 100. She said on the steps. So she already putting in her bid, so we get additional prayers to keep her going. So, you know, that's a warrior. That's a warrior that chooses, chooses her destiny. So if she can make that 100 years, then we will be in the business of blessing her. And so again, the other thing I think is very important is that we celebrate the cause. Because again, she is a political warrior, and all day she was sitting there asking people to be involved. And so the cause is involvement. That's her cause. That's her heart. Okay, she worked harder than anybody there today to make sure people got the information that she had to pass out, and she did that at her own expense. Okay, and so that's the challenge for us. We have to be. If we're going to role model after Mother Abrams, we're going to have to invest, okay? Not just our words, but our time, our energy, and all the resources that we're able to engage. And so I just want to thank her. I gave her a card to talk about 89 years of the things that she have done. I think it's based on her pictures. But the importance of that is that the accomplishments, we document the accomplishment by being also role models example of what she has asked us to be. Okay, and that's the challenge. Be what you are, but you be the best at what she can be. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's very, very true. And I think from listening to everyone's comments tonight, her work, Miss Abrams, your work has not been in vain.
Right.
Some of us, as you say, got it. We got it.
You got it.
You asked that question, you know, this is all
You
of this
got
teaching that she's doing, you know, it's for me, you know, like I had said the first night, you know, is mine is based on, you know, God's word first, you know, biblical principles. And what she does is Miss Abrams reinforces that in her teachings. The same, some of the same principles that, you know, God's word is teaching us, you know, and loving yourself, loving one another, being yourself. You know, that's dignity, that's integrity. That is the purpose that we were put on this earth, to love one another. And if everybody did that, we wouldn't have any problems. But I just want you to know that your work was not in vain. We did listen, and especially me. Sometimes, you know, our hair was just, we were just pulling each other's hair out, you know, doing all this work and stuff, you know, because she'll stay on you, you know, I'll be staying on her too. And you know, but she stay on everybody. Everybody. She stay on everybody. And you know, and sometimes it take a little bit, but you know, we get the message comes across. And like I said, what I learned was you have to connect with the right people at the right time, with people who are in positions of authority and legislation and government, of those who are making, creating, and amending laws. If you do not connect with those right people who have the authority to create laws and make those laws, then it's very hard. It can be hard to make a change effectively. Making an effective change has to do with getting with the right people, whether it's in legislation, or in the family, in the church, in organizations, because you have people who that you may not necessarily want to connect with because they have a title, but that's some of them, that's all they want. You have to deal with spiritual wickedness in high places everywhere you go. And so you have to connect with the right people. You have to. And so I can truly say, I believe I have got it. We got it.
Got it?
You know, Sharl, one of the things I wanted to say to you, Sharl, is you brought me to Mother Abrams. And I had no idea, I'm forever in your debt for that. But you brought me to Mother Abrams. She's the one who really has inspired me in my writings and my teachings. And I would like to say to all your esteemed guests on here, you know, that let us all remember that we all must do things in addition with each other as opposed to each other, and continue to just work toward a common goal in solving these problems of injustice. So thank all of you guys for service and commitment to this issue.
Yeah, we'll continue to have these conversations, you know, with Breonna Taylor, what you were saying, Pat, and the police brutality, things that I didn't fully understand at first. When Dr. Hargrove, could you please say his name right? Because I get it wrong sometimes. It's Kaepernick.
Oh, you're talking about Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick. Okay, Kaepernick. When he first, was when he first started with this silent protest, you know, people were coming against him, you know, even President Trump, you know, just blasted him. But people caught on to what he's saying, and now what he's doing is police taking a knee and praying. And I have posted that on my Facebook. So, you know, that was a silent, what I would say, a non-violent, peaceful protest taking a knee. And it took off from that to Black Lives Matter. And now, you know, it's everybody. It just went all over the world. I mean, everywhere, despite COVID-19, they still out there marching. Because, you know, like I had said before, I've never seen this many white people get out and march. And of course, you know, they still deal with the rioters who are violently, you know, protesting and, you know, trying to infiltrate these peaceful marches. But I'm proud to say that, you know, this is a day and a time that I have never lived to see. I didn't know if I'd ever lived to see something like this. Not this many white people out there marching. Never. When I saw them march come out in Harrison, Arkansas, oh, I knew I was like, oh, I knew somebody had heard. I knew there was going to be a change then.
Well, you know, the King Commission has been doing a lot of work up in Harrison. And there are some good people up there trying to get rid of that stigma surrounding Harrison. And they've been working and embracing other cultures, other communities, and more specifically, the Martin Luther King Commission.
Sharl, one question, Sharl.
Okay.
What is it about the Mother Annie Abrams Museum that will allow others, I guess, when it opens back up after COVID-19, what is it that will, do you have any idea as to what we will place in there or what type of images that will show this era in the museum?
Well, she has images and documents that nobody else has, and none of the other libraries or museums are going to be carrying. Now, I know a lot of them are interested because they've taken some or tried to take some and this kind of thing that she has kept, you know, down through the decades. But there's documents in there that no one else has. Whereas, you know, you walk in and you realize that, hey, now I feel like we are truly included because we're complaining or discussing inclusiveness because so many times African Americans are excluded, and we know that is a part of the systemic institutionalized racism that we are forced to deal with every single day.
Well, I think, Dr. Hargrove, that even the tributes for her 89th birthday can be part of her library because she's got that monitor that the King Commission gave her, and it would allow us to feed into it any type of recording or program that can be viewed by people that are visiting the museum.
Right.
And these type of discussions that we're doing on Zoom, talking about the conditions within our communities, will also be a part of that museum, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. I was talking
it'll
to
be
Sharl
reserved.
about. Go ahead.
It'll be reserved because I'm uploading all of this to my YouTube account, and so that's going to be reserved. You know, she'll have a copy of it as well as it's going to be on international. You know, on the internet. Period. Because it's YouTube. It's YouTube. I'm going to upload that to YouTube. So it'll be there.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate being able to do this, and I want to add one more thing that I truly get from Ms. Abrams, and I really appreciate her history of all of the things that she's witnessed and all of the things that she knows. She can give you the background of people involved today and where they came from, what they did 20 years, 30 years ago, where they were on certain topics. And that helps me to make informed decisions about who is genuinely involved and who some of the things that they've done down through the years. Yeah, she can give you that historical background. You know, we take for granted that whoever's in a position, you know, we don't know that much about them. And then she'll tell you who their mom and dad was and when they served and what they did, and you know
who their aunts and uncles was, who was the aunt, and who their uncle was, the grandmama.
Yeah, and if they had an affair or a mistress, She'll let you know that too.
Yeah, she goes deep into the history of everybody.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does.
And knows the legacy that they've each left behind.
Right. That is the thing that I really admire about her, and it helps me to have a historical perspective on people that's involved in making decisions that impact our lives today.
Right, right.
The Little Rock Nine, she, speaking of how she knew everything,
Right.
in her particular neighborhood on that Bussey Street, who had become the first African-American mayor, she said that Ernie Green lived around the corner. Did she tell us that, Char?
Right.
That Ernest Green was around the corner, and a couple of more Little Rock Nine.
Yeah, she had showed me a lot of the homes in the neighborhood of Little Rock Nine, and that there are some of them, those that are being preserved and those who are not being preserved right now, that people are still working on.
Well, the expert on Ernie Green's house is sitting right there, is smiling at us. Come on, get a grin and tell us where you who owned their house, because their house is actually in one of the documentaries where they actually picked up people from their house. So it is one of those documentaries that's nationwide, and I think it's 3 series, and I forgot the name of it. But Dr. Green right there, he can tell you about that.
Distinguished Scott Green?
Yes.
Yeah.
Speak up. I want to hear some of this.
Is Scott still there?
Yeah, he's getting ready to unmute himself.
There's a smiling face there.
The house that my uncle, Ernest, as you all know him to be Ernest Green, was raised at 1224 West 21st Street, which is on the northeast corner of 21st and Pulaski. The house itself was built in 1918. It was owned by my grandparents. And so having the distinction of being raised by the same woman that raised Ernie Green certainly gives me a lot of pride and dignity. And so when the home was turned over to me and put in my charge, I was given the responsibility of bringing it back to its former glory days. And in fact, we just recently were awarded a building permit so that we can go in and make the necessary improvements so that the structure is habitable again. Still left to be determined what the actual use will be, whether it will be residential only or whether it will house historical documents and be open to the public. But we're fast on our way. Carpenters are working, electricians and plumbers are doing their thing. So we're hoping that weather permitting, and if we can work around all of these COVID issues that are kind of hindering sometimes some of the progress, that by the first of the year, it will be ready to shine. So
yeah,
there are other structures, as it was mentioned, that are still around in the neighborhood. I think there are 5 others, and hopefully we can garner enough support from our community, because it's going to take that. It takes money to put these structures back together again, and hopefully we can do it before they are either destroyed or they're razed or they're taken over by people who really have no interest in them other than to own them, which means they own a piece of us. We allowed this to happen to 9th Street, and well, it's going to take our effort, and it's going to take our money. It comes down to money, but we can do it, and I hope that 1224 will become an example of what can be done, and that it might inspire others to get in the game.
Is Triopia, my friend, involved in it somewhat?
Yes, she gives me advice on on how to spend some of the money. Yeah, I mean, this is somewhat of a family project to some degree.
Well, you make
They
sure
are.
you tell her hello from
I
Hargrove.
will. They are
Yes.
entrusting in me that I'm gonna do right by them, do right by the legacy, do right by the community. This one thing certainly means a lot to me. I'm glad Brother Hassan is on the phone. He can tell you I'm cutting grass every time it grows. I'm working at it. But yeah, this is something that the community certainly. Well, I'm hoping that they will take great pride in the future.
Is it on the list of historic buildings?
It is. It was. This is 2020. I believe.
102 years old.
The property, yes, is. But it was. I think it was. And Ms. Abrams can really help me with this because I cannot remember the lady's name who was instrumental in the property being placed on the National Historic Register. But it was, I believe it was in the 90s sometime. So it's been on that list for some time now. And unfortunately, it's of the existing 9 homes, it's the only one that's on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of that is due to the fact that there are no other members of those. Well, I take that back, with the exception of help me somebody.
It's Eckford.
Her house,
Eckford,
her mother's
Eckford.
house is still there, but
Right.
I agree with you. It's not declared a historical site. So
Right.
you're
But Ms. Eckford is the only surviving member of the Little Rock 9 that lives in Little Rock. The others live out of state. Of course, there's been one death, Thomas Jefferson. So there are 8 now. But everyone else is either not only out of the state, but some are even out of the country and have been for some time.
But doesn't Miss Eckford live in her house?
She does.
Yes.
In the West End. I forgot the street that it's on, but she still lives in her home. Of course, I'm the only Green that lives in of our family tree that lives in the state of Arkansas. So, people have scattered, and unfortunately, some of these ideas just become forgotten. But it's going to take us to remind others how important it is to us, assuming that it is important to us. So.
It is. It is important. Yeah.
But thank you for allowing me to share.
Days older. My house was built in 1909, so my house is a few days older. But there's one distinction I haven't found the history. But my house has an emblem on it of the Shriners, one Shriner emblem, and the Masonic emblem in the step by the porch. And so I haven't been able. I had to get somebody to show me how to do the research. But the same architect built all the houses on the block. So Scotty, the architect, he didn't live on the block. He was built every house on the block. And if you go in them, you can see all the same wood design and so forth in the carving. But yeah, the Shriner on one side and the Masonic labels on the other side. So God willing, I'll get. But yeah, you're right. The Phyllis Brown's house, nobody has ever gotten it declared a historical site.
I see. Well, we've been going and going, for about, let's see, this was an hour and 20-minute show, so for the night, that I wouldn't say the nightly news, I guess I'd say maybe a quarterly, kind of like a quarterly newsletter paper, beginning of one. So there's a lot of issues that can be discussed and dealt with, and Pat Ward and I, we're going to get together and work on doing some things with the YouTube. And so I just want to, you know,
we can choose some topics. We can choose some topics, and thanks to technology, we can identify people around the country or the world that can come in and, you know, be guests. I would love to be able to use that technology even for my radio show, you know.
Right, that's what I'm working on. I have already connected with the women's film artists that put together the films on the Black suffragist.
Yeah.
And the lady that put that film together, I've been in contact with her. You know, this is the centennial, you know, for women's rights, of course, in 1920. But of course, everybody knows Black females did not get to vote. We didn't get the vote until 1965. And the Black men were voting before us, of course, only if they own land, if they own property.
1870.
Okay, so that's when you're saying that Black men got the chance to vote, were allowed to vote.
The 15th Amendment.
And so that's something that I would like to be discussing, you know, and have, of course, uploaded to YouTube. I've already gotten together with the State House Museum, and they're wanting me to work with them and getting that presentation out there. And now because of technology and Zoom, we can do that. We can do that and continue to work on it. And so I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for Miss Abrams' 89th birthday.
89. Happy birthday.
89, the big 89. The big
89. I think that it was memorable for Mayor Frank Scott to come by her house, and as they had Pamela did some live streaming.
I saw that on her Facebook. I saw that on her Facebook. The big happy birthday sign in their yard.
Yeah. And Mayor Scott came by and wished her a happy birthday.
Yeah, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Okay.
Outstanding.
Okay, so I'm gonna get off.
Okay. So just thank everybody, and everyone have a good evening. Peace and blessings and love, everyone. Thank you so much. Good night. And again, Mother Abrams, happy birthday for your big 89.
89.
Happy birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
89 times. There we go. All right, then.
Okay. Let's see. Anjerrio, are you still there? Okay. Everyone is still there. Okay.